Hi everybody and welcome to night number 15 of History Bedtime Stories, live in bed in our pajamas. Today we're talking about the only floating zip code in America. And the story starts December 19th of 1848 when John Ward Westcott comes into the world. A fresh bouncing baby boy, a son of Detroit, he is born into a wealthy shipping family. And from a very young age, he along with his brothers starts working in his father's boatyard. By the time he's 14, he signs on as a cabin boy. Now, cabin boys were sort of the do-anything interns of the shipping industry, and he is on these large schooners and later freighters as a very young man. By the time he's 20, he earns his master's papers, and that is a huge deal. That makes him the youngest freshwater captain on the Great Lakes at the time. He is considered to be stalwart, to be seaworthy, to be a man of great integrity and smarts. And he pretty quickly starts realizing everyone's got the same problem. How do you provision? How do you get mail? How do you get the news of the day when you're out on your vessel transiting freight, commerce, supplies through the Great Lakes and the Detroit River? And he comes up with an idea. In 1874, he purchases a little bit of land on Belle Isle and builds a dock out into the river. And that is the founding of the J.W. Westcott Company. He rows a little rowboat out into the Detroit River to passing ships, and he supplies them with their mail, telegrams, information about the weather that's coming, what ports are open, what ports are full and need to be passed over. Eventually, he becomes popular enough that people wishing to correspond with loved ones traveling on those vessels send letters, which he then delivers, again, in his rowboat, right out to the freighters. By 1895, the United States Postal Service picks up on this, and he gets a contract to deliver the mail to freighters. And the mail is delivered in the exact same way all of the supplies have been delivered for the previous 21 years. He rows out, and when he gets there, he sort of yells up and they drop down a rope with a bucket on the end of it, a pail. He puts everything in the pail, yells up again, and they pull it up hand over hand until it's onto their ship. Once it is, they give him 2 honks, the sign of thank you, good to see you, we're glad you're here. He pulls away and rows back to shore, and they go along, not having to spend the time to come into port and dock just to get provisions, being able to do it sort of as a drive-through with the help of the Westcott Company. By 1949, the company decides they have outgrown rowboats, and they commission a Erie, Pennsylvania company to make them a 13-foot wide, 45-foot long diesel powerboat. That boat's designed with a big open deck and a covered captain's area where the ship can be skippered out. Mail is still delivered in 2020 by the Westcott to passing freighters. They deliver thousands and thousands of packages, parcels, letters, and correspondences every single year. Simply put, their office is now to the west side of the Ambassador Bridge on the Detroit River. They have a small cinder block building, and in the building, it's just rows and rows and rows and rows of shelves. When you want to send a letter to a freighter or a package, you address it to the freighter or vessel's name, then Marine Post Office, Detroit, Michigan, 48222. Now that 48222 is incredibly important because it's the only floating zip code in the entire world. Once your letter arrives at their office, they look at the vessel and they put it on the corresponding shelf. Under the shelves, it has little names for each different vessel, or they'll make one if they don't have that vessel already in their system. Then when they see on radar, and they've got this huge radar screen, who's coming up or down river, they look, see that they have packages for them, put them on the Westcott, now called the J.W. Westcott Co, that vessel built in 1949 in Erie, Pennsylvania. And when the freighter approaches, they motor out right alongside, pull up next to it. Now they're quite a bit smaller than the freighter, so they have to honk, and once again, just like they did 130 years ago, they throw down a rope with a crate or a pail on the end of it. All of the mail, supplies, correspondences go into that pail. 2 honks, and up hand over hand or with a pneumatic winch, the crew of the freighter is able to pull up their mail. They give 2 honks as a sign of thanks, and the Westcott pulls away back to its docking. thousands of times a year. You can watch this happen. And following this video, I've actually tacked on to the end a video I took in June when I was lucky enough to go hang out with the crew of the Westcott and watch them deliver mail, so you'll get to see exactly what it's like. For those kind of scoping out my pajamas, I am wearing my JW Westcott shirt, which of course has the only floating zip code in America on the sleeve. Thank you for watching. Wash your hands, stay safe, and if you like these videos, share them and like them so we can get them out to more people. Stay tuned, video of the Westcott following this one.
Yeah, that doesn't work either.
He swims every day.
Don't create that problem.
But you know what? When I was pretty clear. When I was little, as it would be from Detroit. We were in Detroit. We were decided to my dad is a cruiser. You can see because the sewage into the water, so it's a lot cleaner than ours. And as a little kid. Catch a can. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
To see how they're coming about.
This is one of the only problems we have to deal with here. These yachts going up and down just create all kinds of havoc.